In a fun jump journal dream, DJ's crafting grungy scenes. Hither and yon, where friends all meet. Paper glue and vintage treats.
Hello, my crafty friends. Welcome to Hither and Yon Studio. And if you've been here before, welcome back. DJ here in the digital studio today. We're going to do some stuff in Canva, and I hope you play along. All right, so recently I did a video where I had some pages that were filled with text, and I tore them up and I attached them to ephemera items, and I asked you guys during that video if you wanted me to show you how I made those typed pages in Canva. And you said yes. So here I am, and I'm gonna link that video in the description box below, and any of the links that I use today in this video I will also link down below. But it's going to be pretty simple. We're just going to use three items, and actually you only need to use Canva if you want to. So I'm going to give you a little more involved way of doing this, and then I'm going to give you a really quick, lazy way to do this towards the end. Okay, so we can do all this with free accounts. You don't need to purchase anything. And like I said, I'm going to give you a little bit more of an involved way. So when I say involved, I don't want to scare you off. It's not super involved. And if you just follow these steps, you'll be able to do it just like I've done it. I'm going to be showing you some stuff on the keyboard. Now, I work on a Mac. I'll put below any information you might need if you're on a Windows computer, but I do not use Windows, so you're going to have to kind of play around with this on your own. You may already know some of these steps, so not to worry. You can definitely do this. I promise you, even if you are not tech savvy, you can do this. All right, so we are opening Canva. This is a free Canva account that I am in, and we're going to create a new item. So we're just going to hit create, and then I'm going to come down here to custom size, and I'm just going to type in, well, actually I'm going to change the units first to inches, and I am going to type in 8.5 by 11, which is a US standard size for me, but you can type in anything that you want here. You can also change this to centimeters or pixels if you're familiar with pixels, but I'm just going to do 8.5 by 11 for a US letter size paper. All right, and that's going to open it here on the screen. And now the first thing I want to do is decide on a background. Now you can do this now or you can do this later, but why not? We're already here. We have a blank page. So I'm just going to click here in this area. And if you go up here real quick to this menu, once you've clicked, you'll see this background color. You can click on that and you can choose a color that Canva recommends to you. You can hit this see all to see more colors. We can go back. We can choose a gradient and see all gradients. So maybe we'll pick this pretty yellow. And that fills the entire page with that color. If you have a design that you're working with, so in that video, I tore up some graph papers that I had from my graph paper kit, which I'll also link below. But if you have a page that you're working with, let's say it's pink, you can come up here to this color area, the search bar, and just type in pink. And Canva will give you some recommendations for a bunch of pink colors or pink color families. And you can pick one of the colors that matches the design you're working with. If you choose to do that, you might want to choose an opposite color on the color wheel to complement the piece that you're working with, which we're not going to get into the complementing colors on the color wheel at this point. I'm just going to show you how to do this thing in Canva, but just some recommendations there. Okay, so now we need to get our text, and a couple of ways to do this. I'm going to show you a really fun way that I like to do this to get some interesting text on the page. But if you just want to pull out some simple text or numbers, you can just come over here to this text area on the menu bar here on the left and click on text. And then I like to start with this, add a little body of text. You can close close that. Add a little body of text, but you can add a heading or a subheading. I like this one because it seems to be the right size. And we can resize this, so it's not an issue. It's just a starting point. So that adds this body of text to my page. And now it's highlighted because it's blue. If I were to click in this box, you could see that now my cursor is between the B and the O. And if I wanted to highlight that again, I could just come over here to this A and click and drag, and it would highlight all of that text. So let's say I want to delete everything but the word little. I can do that. So I'm just highlighting the text and hitting the delete on my computer keyboard, just so I have a word in there to kind of work with. And if I click on this, I can drag it around the page. So click and dragging allows you to put this anywhere you want on the page. If we wanted to resize this or change the font, you have all of these options up here, and I will go through them with you as we're designing this page, but I just wanted to point them out to you. Okay, so we have a little bit of text on the page, and right now you can just type in here. So you can highlight it. You see I double clicked it, it highlighted the whole word, but I can again just kind of put my cursor in here and drag, click and drag and highlight it. Or I can double click and it gets the whole word. Let's say I just want to do this. I'm just going to do some binary code. I'm just going to keep doing this, and I'm going to fill the whole page with binary. I don't know if this is real binary. It's just zeros and ones. So I got like 2 rows here. I don't have to keep typing. I could just highlight this entire thing and then right click and hit copy. And there are shortcuts to this, but I'm just going to do it in a way that makes sense to everybody. And then we can go down a row and click paste and keep doing that. We can just paste. I think we have to keep going down, paste. So now I can highlight all of this and copy and go down to a new row and hit paste, and we could fill this whole page with zeros and ones, and that itself could be an interesting design. You could also kind of turn it on its side and use it that way. So you'll see that I have this box on the screen and it's got this little frame around it. If I grab one of these corners and highlight over it, I get a double arrow there that you can see, and if you click and drag, you can make this box really big or really small to resize. And if I click off and I click back into the box, I can click and drag this around the page. And you'll also see down here at the bottom, I have this little circle which has 2 arrows in it that kind of go in a circle. If I highlight that and click, I can actually turn this entire body of text on its side. And you'll see as I'm turning it, it's giving me the angle in that little black box. And I'm going to take it up to 90 degrees so that it's completely flipped and drop it there. And I could just leave it like this and print that page out. So that's one idea. All right, let's get rid of that. Oh, I want to get rid of the whole page. And we'll go back over here to a little body text. We're going to drop that back in the page. And now we're going to go over to a new tab and we're going to open up Google Books. And that is books.google.com. All of these links will be down in the description box below, so you can grab them and use them as you need to. And what Google Books is a repository of complete works that you can read through, download as PDFs, or in this case, we can capture some text from to use in our page. Now, if you have a story in your brain and you want to type it out on the page, go ahead and do that, like we just did with all those zeros and ones, and you don't have to do this step. This step is if you want some interesting text. Let's say you're doing an Alice in Wonderland book, and you want some pages that have some text from the actual Alice in Wonderland book. Well, this is a good way to go grab that text, and you can grab all classic works in here, Jane Eyre and 10,000 Leagues Under the Sea or Moby Dick or whatever it is that you want to use in your page or journal. So I'm going to put in Alice in Wonderland, because I just said that. And you just type the name into the box and then hit this little search button. And it's going to pull up a different, offering of different Alice in Wonderland books. So this one's Lewis Carroll's. This one is actually The Dark Side of Alice in Wonderland. Maybe you want that. Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. And then you'll see some dates here for when this was actually published. And you can preview, you can see more editions, you can read, you can kind of play around in here. If you're looking for some books to read and you want to read them on the screen, you can kind of do this and just read. And it is 100% free, so it's a free tool that a lot of teachers and librarians and just bargain hunters use to do some reading. And you could search this for all different items. But the point here is that we want to get some text that we can use on our page. And some things to keep in mind, and I am not an attorney and this is not legal advice, but if you're going to use anything for commercial sale, you want to make sure that the text you're grabbing is not in copyright and that, it can be used commercially. I'll leave that task up to you. But you can go and learn the copyright laws in your area or your country. I am not a copyright attorney and I don't pretend to be one or play one on TV. So I'm not going to give you any insight on that, but just know that you can't just grab text from a book and use it commercially without first checking to make sure that it is copyright free. Okay, so looking up terms like books in the public domain, books that are Creative Commons, and there's some attribution levels for Creative Commons, so you just want to be sure you're picking the right thing. You just want to make sure that you're not doing anything outside the law, okay? So I'm going to pick this first one up here, and we're going to assume that this is out of copyright and that I can use this text commercially. If you're using this personally, it really don't matter. All right. I'm going to go down to a page that has some text on it as part of the story. And the reason this is highlighted is because my original search was Alice in Wonderland. So anytime it sees the words Alice in or Wonderland, it's going to highlight them. That doesn't matter. For what we're going to do, it's perfectly fine. All right, so let's take these two pages. Let's find pages that have full text. So I'm going to go here and here. Page 21 and 22. All right, so what we want to do is capture this page, and we want to capture it in a screenshot. So you're going to need to know how to take a screenshot on your computer. I know how to do it on a Mac, and if you have a Windows computer or some other type of device, you're going to have to learn how to do this and capture the image. Now, you already may know how to do this, but if you don't, just go to Google, ask Google, and Google will tell you how. If you have a ChatGPT account, ChatGPT will tell you how. We're going to be in there in a second, so I'll just give you a quick demonstration on how to do that. But what we want to do is capture this page. Now, on my Mac, I have to use the buttons on my keyboard that are Command Shift and the number 4. And when I do that, I get this little crosshairs cursor. You see how there's a little circle with an X or a plus sign in the middle, and it's giving me some numbers that are changing as I move around. Okay, this is how I do a screen capture. And once I have this cursor, I can just click on my keyboard, or on my mouse, and drag this down. And when I let go, it's going to take a screenshot. Now, I'm not going to do that yet because there's another step to this. But that's what we want to do. We don't want to take a picture of the entire page because then we're going to have to crop some stuff out. So you want to make sure that you find a screen capture that lets you choose just a segment of the page. Can you edit this full page capture in Canva or some other tool? Yes, you can, but it's just another step. So why do that, right? So what you're going to do is figure out how to take a screenshot, and you're going to click and drag the area of text that you want. And don't get anything in there that you don't want, like of tears is at the top of this page. I don't want that in there. I don't want the number 21 from the page. I just want this portion of the text. Now, when I let go of my mouse, it's going to take the screen capture. That image is going to appear in the lower right-hand side of my screen. You'll see it pop up. And what I want to do is take that image and drag it into ChatGPT. So before I do this, I'm going to go over to a tab and I'm going to open up chatgpt.com. And that link will also be down below. Now, when you open it, you're probably going to get a screen. Mine says welcome back because I've been in here before, but yours might say something else. It may say sign up for free, log in. But you want to try to use the free version without signing up initially if you're just going to do this once or twice. Now, if you want to get a ChatGPT account, you can sign up for free. You can use it for free. It's 100% free. You get limited credits, but you can definitely do everything we're going to do today by getting that account. The other thing that a free ChatGPT account lets you do is add multiple attachments in a single session. If you just use the logged out version, you can only attach one image per day. And it's going to log that by your IP address and your cookies and things like that. So if you want to do multiple images, you're probably going to want to sign up for a free account. But I'm going to stay logged out for this demonstration. We're just going to do one of these right now. And I'm just going to show you how easy this is. All right, so we're going to go back here. I'm going to do my screen capture. Okay, I'm going to put my crosshairs here. I'm going to drag it down and capture just this portion of the text. When I let go, the image will appear in the lower right-hand corner of the screen, and I am going to quick grab it and drag it up to my ChatGPT tab. Okay, well, I had used ChatGPT one other time under this free account. So in order to demonstrate this, I had to log in. So I just got a free account and I logged in. So we are logged in to ChatGPT at this point. But if you have never done this before, you'll get one shot to do this with an image before you have to create a plan. All right. And I am going to show you some other ways. So don't worry if this got all messed up as you were doing it. It's fine. Let's just go back here. I'm going to screen capture the page again. Okay, so I have my crosshairs. I'm going to drag. When I let go, the image is going to appear in the lower right of my screen, and I'm going to grab it and I'm going to drag it into ChatGPT. So here we go. Here it is. I'm clicking on it. Nope, I'm clicking on it and I'm dragging it up, and I'm going to drop it here in ChatGPT. Okay, so there's the image. We dropped it in, and now I'm just going to simply say to ChatGPT, type out the text in this image. Or you could just say, type out this text. It's that simple. And ChatGPT just took the text from the image, because it's an image we grabbed, and we couldn't highlight the text because if we look here, it's an image. We can't highlight this text. Now, I'm sure that there's 50 ways you can figure out how to do that, but this is the easiest way I have found to get the text off the page. And you can do this with any image. But anyway, here is our text. It's in the quote marks here, and it matches what's on the page here. And what we can do then is once we have our text, we can just highlight it here. And I'm going to go inside the quote because I don't want the quote mark. Okay, I've highlighted the whole thing, and I'm going to right click and I'm going to hit copy with my mouse. And then I'm going to come back up here into Canva where we have that little bit of body text, and I'm going to click in here so that it's highlighted, and I'm going to right click and hit paste. Okay, now all of that text that we just got from ChatGPT is now here on our page, and we have some Alice in Wonderland text from the actual book that we have here now on our page. Now, if you want to have more text than what's here, you can go back and clip another page. So we can go down here and we can clip this page. Now, because I'm signed in, it's going to let me do this, but if you're not signed in, you only get one per day. So you might want to get the free account. But anyway, I'm going to clip this page. Again, my image is here. I'm going to bring it up and I'm going to drop it in. And now I'm going to ask it, now type out this text. And it will. Now, if by chance you lost your image, you took the screenshot and you're like, oh my goodness, where did it go? It probably went to your desktop or your downloads folder. And mine usually starts with the word screenshot, but you'll have to test it and see how it lands and where it lands on your computer. I can't tell you that because there's too many variables that would allow me to tell you that. But play with it. See if you can find the image. Mine usually starts with screenshot, so start there. Maybe search your computer for the word screenshot or your files, or go to your desktop and see if you see it, or go to your downloads folder and see if you see it there. Anyway, once you have it, you can click on this little button here that's a plus sign, and then add photos or files, and then click on that and search for the file and upload it here. So if you lose it in the last step, you can just add it here. It's fine. The other thing you can do is if you've signed in and you have, or even with the free version, you can do this. You can log out and just ask ChatGPT to type you a story. You can say, create a story about a furry rabbit that is 4 paragraphs long and is for a children's storybook. And then ChatGPT is going to write you a little story. In a sunny meadow full of daisies and tall grass lived a furry rabbit named Whiskers. Whiskers had the softest gray fur and biggest floppy ears. So this is adorable, right? So if you're looking for something fun, if you want something a little darker, we can say, write me a macabre Halloween, because we're around Halloween when I'm recording this, story about a lost soul who finds happiness. I don't know. And then we're gonna make it dark but family friendly, just because I want to make sure nothing pops up weird on the screen here. And 5 paragraphs long. You can give it more detail if you want. You can say, give it a humorous tone. You can say, use the word belligerent 15 times. You can make it a poetry, whatever you want. You can put all the things that you want in there. So let's see what it gives me. Yeah, so this is perfect. So if you're doing like a Halloween themed journal, you could use something like this. Okay, so let's go back to our bunny story. And I'm just going to copy this. And I'm going to come back in here and we're going to play with this because it's a little longer. But now I showed you how to get the Alice in Wonderland or some other type of classic work if you want. And we're going to highlight all that. And then I'm just going to hit paste. Okay, and here is my entire bunny story. Now this is too big for the page, right? So we have to adjust this font some just so it all fits on the page. And the way that we do that is we just highlight all of this text. So I'm just clicking and dragging with my mouse. And then I'm going to come over here to this font size. And we're just going to keep clicking this minus button until it fits on the page. We'll go up one more because I think that will work. And then we can come over here to these handles. See how there's a handle on this side and that, and there's some in the corner. And we're just going to drag this out a little, and that will give us a little more room and fit everything on the page. Now this is center aligned, and I don't like that. So I want to have it justified on the page so it fills the entire page. So what I'm going to do is come up here to this alignment, and I'm going to click on it until I see the one that is justified. So this is centered. This is left justified. This is justified. And then if we click one more time, we're going to get right justified. So I'm going to go back to justified. Okay. And these gaps here, I don't like them. So I'm just going to come down here and fill those gaps. So I'm just going to kind of grab these sentences. I'm clicking. I'm hitting my delete button, which brings it up to the other line. Okay, and now it looks like I can make this just a bit bigger. So I'm going to highlight the text again and bring it up one. That fills the page. And if I see how it's like just hanging over the page, I can fix that by expanding this out. See how I'm pulling and dragging? Okay, I can do that. And then I'm going to use these corners and I can kind of make it bigger or smaller just so I get it fit right on the page. Okay. Like so. And I think that's good. All right, so you can kind of fill up the whole page. Once you have that, you can change the font. So we have this entire passage in what is the default font in Canva, which is Canva Sans. So let's go find something that maybe is a little more storybook, like a typed font. So we're going to click on this Canva Sans. And that's going to open up a new window over here. And you can see that we have a variety of fonts. Now, if you're on the free account, you want to come up here and just click on free. So we're just choosing so that only free will show up. Otherwise, you'll be able to use it, but when you go to print it, Canva's going to ask you to pay for it. And we don't want to do that. So if I have a free account, I want to just use the free fonts. And there's plenty of them, so you don't have to worry about not finding something that you want. All right, I'm going to see if there's something that looks like a typed page. This one's kind of cool. Kind of looks like a typed page. That one was The Seasons. There is Playfair Display, which is kind of fun too. This looks a lot like a book page if you're going for that look. But you can kind of come in here and play with the different fonts. This is School Bell, which looks like, you know, a kid's font, handwritten text. So you can play with something like that, especially with this story, which is kind of like a kid's book story. So if you're doing like a little Golden's book theme, this would be great. The other thing you can do up here under font is just come up to I'm just kind of scrolling back up. There's these styles that you can choose from. So there's handwriting, corporate, display, and there's a little arrow here that'll take you to the next. We got headings, paragraph, sans serif, serif, rounded, modern. So you got some you can play with. If we go to serif fonts, you'll see more of those book page style fonts that you can kind of play with. Like this one, which is Libra Serif Modern. You can come up here and remove this option, serif, by hitting this X, and then you can just write in typewriter. Here we'll do typewriter. And this will give you a bunch of typewriter fonts. And these are all free fonts because we chose that here in the filters. Okay, and you can use all of these in the free Canva account. So how fun is that? And now it looks like because we chose that font, we can increase our font a little more, fill the page. So there we go. So now you just download and print this out, which I will show you. But before I do, maybe we want to change our background now to something that looks a little more like a vintage book page. So let me show you how to do that quick. I'm just going to move this over here. So all I did was click in the box and move it over. If you find that it's selecting the background, try to get yourself over one of those words and just drag it over. So here we are in our background. I'm going to click there. And then I'm going to come up here to Elements. Okay, it's over here on the left. And up in the search bar, I'm just going to type old paper. When I do that, I'm going to get a couple of options. I have graphics, photos, and then a bunch more. You can ignore the bunch more, all right? You want to work within graphics or photos. And again, we want to choose just free items. So let's click here and go, I guess it's only going to show me free. Oh no, it's not. All right, let's choose an option. Let's go to graphics, see all. And now let's see if it's free. Interesting. Okay. Well, just so you know what the paid ones are, they are the ones with the little crown. So you want to look, I don't know why it's not letting me filter, but anyway, maybe because it's a free account and it's trying to promote. But what we want to do is pick the ones that don't have a crown. So I'm just going to go with this one here. Okay, when I click it, it lands on the page and there's the editing box around it, the handles that let you drag it, turn it, resize it, and we're going to resize it. So we want to grab this corner here and click, and we're going to just drag. Big, big, big. We want to get it off the page because see how it has this torn edge? Now maybe you want the torn edge. I don't, so I'm just going to keep making it big and drag it until it fills up my whole back. Okay, and then I'm going to click off. Now I'm going to come take my font, I'm going to bring it back, and I'm going to lay it like so. And that's that. And you can do that with a bunch of different ones that you want. You can try different styles. So let's say we want to try this in a different style. I want to duplicate this page because I don't want to redo it, right? So I clicked off the page. I'm over here in this area, just hit my mouse to click off here. I'm going to go up here and there's some options. You have a duplicate page and you have an add a page. If you duplicate the page, it's going to do just that. It's going to duplicate the page. If you add a page, it's going to add a page with the background that you had. So we changed the background, which is still technically this color. It's just that the paper we put over it is covering it, right? So you can always change this. I just showed you how to change it. But if you want to delete that page because you don't need it, you can just hit this little delete. And now we just have the 2 pages. And the page numbers are here. You have page 1 and page 2. And you can add a title here, like let's say darker background. And here we can name this lighter background. And when you download it, it's going to take these names. So it might help you to stay a little organized if you want to do that. I recommend you do. All right, so let's go down to our second page here now. And let's say we want to change this background. I'm going to drag my text over again. And I don't know, I hit something here. Hold on. Okay, I just want to pick a darker background. So let's say dark old paper. Okay, so we have like this blacker one. So if you're doing like the darker story that we created, this might work for you. But let's take it. I'm just going to show you now. If you have a printer and you pay a lot for ink, you're not going to want to use a black background. You know that. But if you're like me and you have an eco tank, you can pretty much print whatever you want. So anyway, I'm going to click on, oh, actually, I want one that isn't. All right, let's take this one. It's free. Okay, it's very dark. I do want to resize it. So again, I can grab these handles and kind of just drag them up. I can do that. Or if I don't want to lose any of the way that it's kind of darker around the edges and lighter in the middle, I can just use this little wheel down here. You see the little circle with the arrows in it? I can just click on that and drag, and it will change the angle of this item on the page. And you can see that little black box that's there. That's showing me what the angle is. So let's go to 90 degrees. And now I can just grab these corners and kind of drag it out so that it's fitting. Okay, and reposition it to the corner. I am going to lose some of the image, but that's okay. I'm getting the majority of it. Okay, so now it's filled out my whole page. And I'm going to come back to my text and I'm going to drag it over. And now we really can't see our text too well. So what I'm going to do is go up here to this text color and I'm just going to change it out. We'll change it to a lighter color. Let's go with something like that, which you want to kind of test and play with this and see what you like. Sometimes I like to mix up the lighter fonts with some of the other graph papers and things like that, or other textures of paper. So you just kind of want to play around with it and see what you get. All right, guys. So we're pretty much at the end of this particular tutorial, but I want to show you, before I show you how to download it, I want to show you how you can make one of these the super lazy way, okay? And you can do this with a free Canva account. So what we're going to do is we're going to come over here to open menu, and we're going to go home, okay? And all of this is over here on the left. If you're missing it, it's all here. So home button. And when you come to the home page, you should see this find or create anything. There's a little box here, and then you have some options here. You want to click on Canva AI. Okay. when we click on Canva AI, we've opened up the AI model, and now we can tell it to make us something, anything that we want. So let's go down here and do create an image. And we'll pick a style, and I like to go with illustration, but you can play with these and see what you like. There's a black and white sketch, there's a cartoon comic book pop art looking one. There's different just styles that you can try, but I'm going to go to illustration because I find that works really well. And then I'm going to change my size to be 3 by 4, which kind of equals an 8.5 by 11. It's probably the closest one. And we can resize this, so don't worry if you don't get it absolutely perfect. And then I'm going to come up here and describe what I want. So I'm going to say, create a vintage book page with a typed story in an old typewriter font in black ink. Period. And then I'm going to give it a few more instructions just so I kind of get exactly what I want. Make the text edge to edge. Oh, that's not edge. And fill the entire page. Period. No headings. No subheadings, and no titles or other graphics. Because you don't want it to be too imaginative if you're looking for something very specific. Now, if you're not, you can just kind of say, create me a vintage book page and see what it gives you. And then we'll just hit this little submit button. And it works really quick. It goes super fast. All right, here we have it. Now, some things you'll notice. This looks exactly like what I asked for, but the text is jargon. If we look at it real close, you can see it's definitely AI because it blurs words. See this word here? It's not even a full text word. But when you're using it in an art project, sometimes that's better. And sometimes it don't matter. And in this case, you don't have to worry about copyright at all. You can just take this page and print it out. Or manipulate it or do whatever you want with it. So let's see, which one do I want? I'm going to take this one here, and you can download it direct from here if you want. So you just hit this little download button, and then it's going to ask you where you want to put it. All right, so you just put it wherever you want on your computer, and you name it whatever you want that will help you find it. The other thing you can do is go up here, and you can, nope, not I think you just click on it. Yeah. And then open in editor. And what that will do is it will actually open it in a page we were just in where we were creating our page. Okay. So we're back in the editor. We were here before. You can see our menu here, our download, all sorts of stuff. Now, because this isn't exactly 8.5 by 11, I want to take a minute and just resize it. So I'm going to go over here to this resize. And, oh, okay. I guess resize is a pro option. So you don't technically have to resize it if you don't want to. You can bring it into another editor if you have one, like a free editor of some type, and actually edit it that way. The other thing you can do is if you can't use the resize because it is a pro option, is you can do this little trick. So we're going to go back to home. I'm going to leave this tab open and I'm going to come over here to this home tab. I'm going to close this and I'm going to go back to our original design here. Okay, I have that open and I saw that on my home tab. So you see how it says recent designs? It's going to show me the design we just did. So I opened that. Where is that? Here it is. Okay. So we're in my recent design. I'm going to come back over here to that one that wasn't resized the way we want. And I'm just going to click here and I'm going to hit copy and I'm going to come back over here and I'm going to hit paste. Okay. And now I'm just going to pull this out until it fills the page, because this page is already 8.5 by 11. So there's a handy little trick to help you kind of fill this out on the page. And I can just keep expanding it. Anyway, so I want it to fill the entire page like that. Okay. And then we want to download these items, right? So that's a quick way to use the AI in Canva to kind of get you some items that you want. You can just come up here, type in anything you want. I did the create an image, but there's a design for me. So you can say design a scrapbook background. I don't know what this is going to give me, but let's see. Now this is opening up in a different area, but let's see what it gives us here. Yeah, that's interesting. I don't know that I would want any of those, but we can refine it and we can say provide a layered background page for a junk journal. I don't know if it's going to know what that term is, but let's see what it gives me. Canva wants to default to like traditional printed items. So yeah, see how it wants to give you like a flyer or a slideshow or a report cover or something along those lines. So what you can do is come in here and make it a graphic instead. So let's go back to the home page. And we'll go back to Canva AI, and instead of design for me, we're going to use create an image, and we're going to put in that same description, a scrapbook. Let's do vintage so that it's a little more vintagey. A vintage scrapbook background for a junk journal. Oh, and I didn't change the size, so it went to 16:9, but let's see what it gives me. Oh, look how pretty. Aren't those cool? I think they're really cool. Let's make this 3x4. I'm giving you guys a bit of a more lesson, but play with the AI and you can get some cool background. What is that? I want to keep that just because. Looks, oh, okay. It looked like a little 5-year-old with a beard. But anyway, this is a cool background. I would use this. So just some ways to use the AI editor. All right, let's go back. We have our original pages here now. Now I got rid of that one because I put this in it. Let's see if I can. Let me make a new page and then I'll drag this down so I can preserve that other page. You got to get it, when you're dragging stuff from page to page, you got to get it completely on the other page. Otherwise, it still wants to hang out there. So just a little tip. Anyway, we'll just pull this up. All right, so now we have our original page. We have that AI page. We have this one we did in the darker color. So now we want to download them and get them onto our computer. And the way you do that is to come over here to the share. And we want to download. And there's some options here. I'll just give you a quick walkthrough of what I think is best. I would start with the JPEG. It's the smallest file size, or a PDF standard. Now you'll see this one says PDF print. That's usually for professional printing. So I wouldn't worry about the quality of the print. Start with standard. If you don't like the way that it looks, you can try the PDF print. You know, that's if you're used to working with PDFs. Now, if you want to work with a JPEG or a PNG, you can pick either of these and you can download them. When you have a free account, some of these are not available to you. You can't do an SVG and you can't do a PNG that has a transparent background because that is a pro feature. So you just want to choose what you can use. And all of these will work for print. So we're going to download. And because we have 3 pages here, it's going to ask us to select the pages we want. By default, it's going to select all of your pages. And if you don't want all of your pages to download, then you just want to come in here and choose the ones that you do. So you can unselect all here. And then you can just select the current page, which is showing as page 2, or you can come down here and select your darker background, or you can select all. If you select all, when you download, it's going to download it as a zip file. So you're going to have to unzip it onto your computer. So if you just want the one page or you want to download these individually, just select them one page at a time and download them. Now that would only be if you have no way to unzip files on your computer. And I think in this modern age, most of us have that. But if you don't, just come in and select one page and hit done and then hit download. And that's going to download a PNG file of page 1 onto my computer. And where it downloads is up to you. So when you hit this download, you can just choose where you want it to download. So it's taking a second. And once I get here, I can just choose my desktop or my downloads folder and I can save it there. You just hit save, you call it whatever you want, but by naming the page, you're naming the file and that saves a lot of time. So you can just do that. About the download file types, a PNG is going to be a very large file. So if you have limited space on your computer, go with a JPEG or go with a PDF standard. The JPEG is probably the least amount of space on your computer, but try them, see what works, and try the print quality, see which one you like the best, and just remember those settings. And in order to do that, you can just come here and save download settings. So next time when you come in here and you go to download, those settings will already be saved. You can also limit the file size. So if you're really limited on space, you can kind of come in here and limit what size. There's 1,000 kilobytes in a megabyte. So if you want to like maybe limit this to 1,000 kilobytes, you're going to get a less quality print. But if you're using it for art, maybe that doesn't matter as much. And if you're limited on space, then that might be an option. All right, guys, so that's the video. I know it seemed like a lot, but honestly, you saw all the different ways you can do this, and ChatGPT can be your best friend when you're creating stuff like this. I also made a promise that I would show you how to ask ChatGPT questions about how to take a screenshot. So let me do that with you. So ask anything. All right, ChatGPT, how do I take a screenshot on a Windows computer? And ChatGPT is going to tell you exactly how to take a screenshot on your Windows computer, and it's going to show you how to do it as an active window only, a full screenshot, the snipping tool. So Windows key plus Shift plus S will let you do kind of what I was doing on screen. And then I'm not sure if you're going to get the image in the lower right-hand corner when you do that on a Windows computer. Anybody with a Windows computer that wants to jump in and put in the comments their experience, that would be great to help anybody out with a Windows computer. I don't have one, so I can't show you, unfortunately, but I think this one is going to get you the snip that I showed you in my example. But let's say you're doing this on your computer and it didn't work. You can just come in here and say, that didn't work. Any other options? And then you can ask it, do you need to know my version? I'm just going to skip the longer answer because it might take a while. See, it will literally walk you through. Okay, so I'm not going to get into a big ChatGPT walkthrough. If you'd like that, let me know. I can give you some like crafty type of ChatGPT stuff. Like I kind of just showed you the scrapbook thing in Canva. But just get in here and play. Talk to this like you would talk to a tech advisor. And it will give you all of your answers. And if you don't understand something, like I don't know what this means, I don't know what video captures means, you can copy it, paste it down here and say, I don't know what this means. What does it mean? Or you can tell ChatGPT, talk to me like I'm 5 years old. Talk to me like I'm in the 8th grade. Talk to me like I'm a rocket science, and it will do all of those things for you. So give it a try, guys. It's really actually a fun tool to work with. Don't give it any personal information. But other than that, you can kind of play with it and it'll give you a lot of answers. Okay, moving on. That's the video today. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, please consider subscribing and hitting that bell so you get notified when I release new Canva for Crafters videos. And don't forget, I have a whole Canva for Crafters playlist over on my YouTube channel. I'll link that down below and you can go over there and see what other goodies I have. And yeah, I'll talk to y'all in the next video. Have a great week. Have a great rest of your day or night. And I'll see you soon. Bye.